What's up, everybody? It's your host today of the Thought Provoking Podcast, Will Brown. I got a special guest today. Want to introduce yourself, my man?
Yo, it's your man Marcus Smith, a.k.a. Big Groove, 1/3 of the Unfiltered University podcast.
Oh, yeah. So before we get into anything, I want to shout my man Jared Blevins out with Midwest Eats. Good food. Make sure you stop in. Look him up on social media, Midwest Eats. You can find him at Jared Blevins on Facebook. I want to ask you a question, my man, before we start. This is something that I want to introduce to every guest that comes in here. I want you to tell me where you at 1 through 10, mentally and business-wise.
Mentally, I'm at a strong 8. Strong 8. Business-wise, I can say I'm at 6.5. And I say that compared to where I was business-minded last year. Last year, I was at a 4. So I would consider myself progressing.
So let me ask you this. What would you say it would take to get you higher business-wise?
Number one, a more concrete plan. I kind of got like a little Venn diagram or spider web, from what we learned in elementary, what like I want to do. But as far as like really like putting pen to paper, like with a real outline of, okay, these are the steps that's gonna take. And of course, finance is always huge in that. Okay. So yeah, like it would be those two that are really concrete in like the progression of that.
The reason why I ask is because a lot of times us as friends, people just being cordial with each other, a lot of times we suffer with our own issues and we don't bring them up to each other. And I've always wondered why, if we could talk about sports, family, whatever the case may be, when you're going through something personally, I always wonder, why is it so hard for us to basically get that out and want to start pushing having community around ourselves? If you're saying that you're anything other than a 10 when it comes to mentally, let's talk. Let's figure out what we can actually do and implement in your life to get you to a 10, whether it's, you just need to vent more. You don't have a outlet to get that out. Us having that family bond to say, hey, my guy's suffering right now. He's dealing with something. Let me do all of what I can to be there for him to get him to a 10. Right. Even when it comes to business. Some people are not at a 10 just because there's a lack of information. Don't know where to start. Like you said, some people may be finances. And then a lot of times it's just you don't know who to actually ask this information that's going to actually give it to you. Because, a lot of us, we like to hold on to it. It's like, nah, I'm in this lane, can't really help you, trying to get all the money for myself. So that's something that I want to start implementing, asking people on the regular, through conversation and guests that come on here, asking people to rate themselves when it comes to business and where they at mentally. So I just wanted to get your idea on that.
That's definitely dope.
So today, man, I kind of want to talk about this whole culture vulture idea, whether or not you feel it's real or what's your thoughts behind it?
Of course, I'm gonna say it's definitely real. Okay. Compared to what we talked about in the past, I've never looked at it from that aspect. From how we grew up, the culture vulture was always presented. Oh, it's somebody outside our community, that being the black community, or the hip hop community, even that's trying to come in and take, I guess, acclaim or praise for something that we created. So my example would be off the top of my head, Shady, Eminem. Okay. Like, I'm a huge Eminem fan, but that's one of his biggest, I guess,
flaws.
Yeah, no, not even flaws, but criticisms towards him from like the outside public or even within the hip hop community or whatever. So it's like, oh well, yeah, he only went diamond them times, or he only sold them numbers, or has this acclaim due to him being white, having a white fan base, blah 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 this, blah 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 that. Like to me, he rarely got credit for just having like lyrical ability, talent, this, that, and the third. Not saying those things didn't help or propel his career, but it's like when you say culture vulture, that's all. Like I feel like that has to be top 2 when you talk about hip hop or just culture vulture in anything at all. Like you, it's like his name is synonymous with it.
Always. The next person is Vlad.
Vlad
has always been at the top, especially as of late. Being at the forefront, saying he's a culture vulture, that he, takes from black culture, doesn't do anything for us. They tie in the whole snitching and gets people locked up. And, I've always pushed back on that to say, when you get on this platform, nobody can force you to say anything that you don't want to say. We're all adults. You got common sense. You've seen enough content get put out. You know what comes behind certain things that you say. So you're in charge of that. Even if somebody keeps pushing, you have the right to say, no comment, I'll pass on that. I don't know what you're talking about. You could even be silent.
Right.
You'll move on with the interview eventually. So I always had pushback when it came to the whole Vlad being a culture vulture, because I looked at, there's a lot of artists that's out now, even public figures, legends from the streets, or whatever the case may be. He basically documents history. And a lot of people have been paid by Vlad. You know, I don't know how you gauge what the pay should be or any of that kind of stuff, but he's also put it out there that he's done more of paying these artists and these different figures over anybody else, radio or anything like that. So I think that Vlad has helped a lot of black people out. And I don't really look at him as a culture vulture. That, you know, can be opinion based, which obviously it is. But obviously I do believe culture vulture is a real thing. And black people as well can, you know, be culture vultures.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question. Have you experienced it?
Oh, of course. Like on the I guess the lowest levels, and I guess let me think if I seen that in like mainstream media.
Well, you personally.
Personally, yes, I've seen it with my own two eyes. Like I've seen niggas get attached to niggas just because they were doing something, and I ain't gonna be specific or whatever. Okay. But I've seen niggas really just like try to chime in or attach themselves to people because their lane, like they were going further and farther in it, or you saw imminent shit. I'll use Smooch for example, because Smooch is known to all of us, or the hometown hero, KK as well. I've seen people try to get close to Smooch around the time when he was finna go into the draft, when we was ever doing shit. Like I knew people that weren't hanging around KK.
Never messed with him before.
Never messed with, like never had their names in their mouths and all of that. But you know that, okay, he's on the brink of imminent success. So now you kind of want to... I've seen older people, like adults that like helped raise us and was in the community and shit, like just, oh yeah, I'm finna go blah, 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 I'm finna go... And it's like, okay, you're only doing that because of who it is. Like you ain't never gave two shits about KK before. You ain't never gave two shits about Smooch before. But now because you know they finna be rolling in the dough or whatever success is finna come their way, now you want a piece of the pie. Or you want to be around just for instant fame. And even on lower levels and shit. It's just like, why weren't you supporting them when they was trying to get it out the mud, when they was grinding? Like, you weren't never playing this nigga's music until you thought he was going to sign a deal or a contract or whatever. Or he was getting a little claim or praise and shit like that. Like, you weren't never fucking with these people. And I ain't saying that that's necessarily fake or a culture vulture per se. But what I will say is, you've always known of this person. Like, we are from EC. It's this big. EC's 7 blocks long. Like, you know people that do, you know everybody that's doing music, you know everybody that's playing sports, you know everybody, whatever walk of life, ministry, media, sports, whatever. You know who does what because we all intertwine. Why ain't you shouting them out? Why you ain't going to their concerts? Why you ain't pubbing them? Like, and then especially on a deeper level, if they your homeboy, why you ain't fucking with them on a regular? And I get it, we all got lives, we parents, we all got kids, blah, 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 blah. It don't take nothing to show a little support. Yeah, but the moment they get a little buzz or they get a little traction, and all of a sudden, now you always with the links. Now you always with the, come on, dog. Like you just want to be around because you know it's finna be some success, maybe down the line. Like on way back, it was a rapper that was finna, it was a local rapper that we thought was finna get signed. I watched niggas lose their mind in Central. Like, lose their mind. Like, yeah, so blah, 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 blah. Like, fam, you ain't even fuck with the nigga.
They fanning out now.
Fanning out. Like, you can't, and I ain't saying that it's deep on that level because I don't like all the time when niggas do it, but if you fuck with a nigga, like, you can name me a song. Like you ain't never heard this nigga rap or you ain't never said it. Like, fam, if you genuinely happy for somebody, that's one thing. But you losing your mind at this point because now you finna start kicking it, you finna start going to the kickbacks and shit. And we don't talk about that enough, like within ourselves. It's like, yeah, like we be so hell bent on somebody that doesn't look like us or have our skin complexion being a culture vulture. Like, no, niggas can be culture vultures too.
Yeah,
but we accept it because, you know, that mantra is, if you make it, you supposed to take everybody with you. So it's like we, I guess, overlook the fact that, like, no, some people could just be coming around because they want you to take care of them, as opposed to, like, having your best interest at heart and really supporting whatever your career path is.
Let me ask you this, because that's an interesting point that you brought up. A lot of us have the mindset that we jump on stuff late, and when we do get attached to it, we feel like that's enough. And you said we get the mindset of, you're supposed to take me with you. Do you think that that's fair, that these people grind and do whatever it takes for them to get to the top with lack of support, people pubbing them, opening up doors that could have made it a lot easier, and then they get a amount of success? Do you have to give back?
It's funny
because people feel like you should do this, you should do that. Do you think that they have to give back?
I think it's subjective. And the reason I say it's subjective is because, no bullshit, I was having this conversation. It was a group of us at work a couple days ago. And my supervisor was like, yeah, I just seen this one fucking Kawhi had turned down to 30, 35, whatever, however much, to re-up with the new contract or whatever.
Shout out to him as well.
Right. So he was like, yeah, like, I don't understand how you turn down 35 a year. It's like, and like, somebody should be forcing them to give back. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, first of all, I'm somebody that thinks taxes are unconstitutional. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody should make anybody give back. It should really be benevolent and in your heart. Like, if you don't have it in you to give back to your community, I don't know what that community put you through. I don't know if anybody from that community or your community or they look like you ever supported you. So no, I don't think you should have to do it. I think if you personally feel like, hey, these people helped me work on this when I was in practice, they gave me extra tutoring for this, they did this, that, or the third. If you feel like anybody that poured into your imminent success, like, you wouldn't be here without them or that or those fans or those classmates or whatever the case may be, then yeah, if it's in your heart, do it. But I don't even think somebody should be critiqued if they said, like, nah, shit, I bust my ass. Like, I was in there putting up 500 free throws and 500 threes and running suicides from sun up to sundown and shit. Like, nah, like, every dime I make, I'm keeping for me and my family. Like, and then when I say family, I mean the media family. Like, we know niggas gotta wear name tags at fucking family reunions because niggas don't know everybody and shit. And I ain't talking about you got family from Timbuktu and Cali all the way coming to EC. I'm talking about, like, no, like, everybody in the 219, like, we don't even fuck with each other or know each other like that. So it's like, I don't feel like it's an obligation to just take care of people because now you the motherfucker with the bread.
I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. So going back to the culture vulture, what I want to know is, what's your thoughts on it actually still being relevant in 2021? Because this ain't a new conversation. Like, this been going on for years. A lot of things have been pushed to the forefront now through social media, you know, Facebook, Instagram. Everybody got a camera phone now. So the information is right there in front of your face, and everybody's having an opinion because they got a cell phone. Why do you think that this is still an actual thing in 2021? Because I got my opinion on it, but, you know, I like to get a guest their opportunity to go first.
I think it's going to always be, I guess, like a grandfathered in conversation, just because it's been around for so long. Number one, because that's a way of, I guess, holding the next person back for whatever reason. Like we always got to have a reason to shit on somebody else. But I don't think, in all actuality, as real as I believe Culture Vultures were, or could even still be are, I don't think that they hold the same weight, because in mainstream media, everything is built off of a fan base. Like, not that it wasn't in the 90s and 80s and so on and so forth, going back in time, but you search for followers.
Yeah.
It's like, from the moment you create a social media page, you want people following you on Facebook, you want them following you on IG, Snap, Twitch, so on and so forth. So it's like, you don't really give a damn if you know these people per se and everything like that. Like, you just want them to see whatever it is that you're doing on the camera for 30 to 60 seconds and then help you prepare your career. Like, so it's like the entry to music, comedy, movies, TV, commercials, all that shit. Like, it can't be a culture vulture because it's not like people say like, yeah, it's gatekeepers in Hollywood, so on and so forth. But it's like the actual gatekeepers to just imminent success, there are none, because you can really get on just by posting shit on YouTube or shit. Shiggy and goddamn my man from Wildin' Out, with DC Young Fly and all them, like all the new age comedian, all of them, like big shout out to Country Wayne, like.
Which we booked him first in the Midwest.
True.
Just gotta put that out there.
And that show was
we
dope as
are
fuck.
the first who booked him in the Midwest. Anybody that done it after us, you were second.
But yeah, it's like I don't believe that it's really possible to be one in today and age, like in social, not social media, but just in media and entertainment. But I can understand why people feel like certain people are. At the end of the day, if I built my following before I got on, just by grinding and putting out content, you can't call me a culture vulture. But on the flip side of that, if I did some weak ass shit, and this is my personal opinion, what's old girl that was on Maury or whatever when she was 14? Doja Cat, was that her?
I ain't know.
Who's old girl that did? Because I could be wrong. Who's old girl that did Catch Me Outside?
Catch Me Outside. No, they ain't Doja Cat.
Yeah, her. Yeah. Like, if you her and you like, because that's somebody I could possibly view as a culture vulture. Because it's like, all right, you kind of pandering to a community and all that shit. Like, Shady was really rapping. Like, yeah, all that shit. Like, okay, yeah, that's extra. And then, like, from that actual Maury episode, your whole career, your music career, it shot out. So yeah, in that instance, yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna do a little pushback. I believe that the culture vulture situation is not just an idea. I think it's people out there that do have a strong hold to this day. And I gave you the example of the baby. He said what he said. I think it was very ignorant what he said, but I didn't feel like it's a homophobic rant.
Right.
But now you started to see that these labels and these fests are saying, no. You said this. You offended these people. We're going to start taking this, taking that, taking this. And although I think that what he said is ignorant, they're showing you that if you don't walk a fine line and do what they want you to do, they'll take from you. And the reason why I say this culture vulture situation is still relevant to this day and has a stronghold is because let's say this trend keeps going where had the baby not apologized, they kept taking from him. Who could you go to, label-wise or promoter-wise, that you could sit there and say, oh, this is the next Motown right here, that understands the culture, understands the people, and can sit there and say, you know what? We think what you said was ignorant. We don't agree the way they are treating you, and everybody's entitled to make a mistake. So we're going to pick up that slack and say, hey, you go ahead and you sign with us, and we'll take care of you. And any other artist out there that feels that they can't speak freely about how they feel, although ignorant, you feel you can't speak freely because this cancel culture, these gatekeepers are sitting there saying, well, you know what? If you do this, you say this, we're not dealing with you no more. Because instantly you see this man go from being a millionaire to just a regular Joe. Although he has a fan base, this, that, and the other, he's apologizing for something that he initially said, I didn't say this. This is not what I meant. These people, these group of people mess with me. He was animate about basically fuck y'all.
Classic case of what I said versus what you heard.
So now you stand on exactly what you just said. This is what I said versus what you heard, but you're apologizing. If you didn't say this, why are you apologizing? Because there's still a group of people that's affecting your money, affecting your pay. And the people that could step up and say, hey, I got you. Come sign with me, or I have these deals of, you know, whether it's our version of what Puma is or Nike is, we're willing to deal with you because, again, we think what you said was ignorant. You need to shut the fuck up, do your music, and keep it pushing. But the way they treating you, we got you over here. There's no black version of Puma on that level.
Right.
But when we get these folks that do clothing lines, we don't see value in ourselves because instantly you'll pay thousands for Gucci, Louis, Prada, all of that. But then when someone that looks like you have this same exact brand, if not better quality, oh man, I ain't paying X amount of dollars. So I hold us accountable for this culture vulture type mentality and situation actually occurring to this day. Because if we champion ourselves, right now I got my man Malcolm recording this for me, editing my stuff with Jones Management.
Shout out my dog.
There's no reason why everybody in Northwest Indiana that look at this and say, man, that's good quality. I like the camera angles. I like the music that's being put in here. I like the different shots. There's no reason why everybody don't support that. And make Malcolm number one in Northwest Indiana. So that way, if somebody's outside the culture, treating us a certain way that we don't like, they don't understand us, we got somebody right here who's doing this over here. You got the Thought Provoking Podcast right here. You got the Unfiltered University with you all. There's outlets that you don't have to deal with a Vlad. You don't have to come on these podcasts and do interviews with people that you feel like they're trying to trap us. Right. They're trying to push us further back. They got their foot on our neck. We need them. No, we got to start seeing value in ourselves, because if we don't, this will continue. They'll basically be able to put you in your place at any given time, because at the end of the day, it's all about money. And I understand apologizing for something that you didn't say when you know your whole lifestyle is going to change. You know, you used to being a broke guy to, you know, you're getting a few dollars in your pocket, nothing life changing, to millions of dollars. Right. You're rocking these shows with thousands of people out here. These promoters, prime example, we did Party in Peace in our own city, giving us something to do that you didn't have to travel to Chicago. And I guarantee you 15% of the crowd out there wasn't even from East Chicago. We, for whatever reason, we don't see value in ourselves. And I think that's how you kill a lot of this nonsense. We have to start pubbing our own. You know, you got Ashley Tarver, who does food out here. You got Jared Blevins. You're not going to tell me that these two individuals who care, do amazing jobs, can't give you the same quality of steak as a Ruth Chris. You can't tell me that. But because
it's the name.
The rappers say it. You know, they post videos around it. It looks glamorized and it's popular. We got that right here. We can take their talent, support it, and push them to the top, and that's our Ruth Chris right there. Y'all bitching and crying about Turkey Leg Hut and their dress code. Oh, they making it hard for black people. They don't understand black culture. But in every city, we got someone that looks just like us who can do the exact same stuff, present the exact same meals. But nah, they ain't cool.
Right.
You can't do this on the camera and show everybody, look, I'm out here with just local markets who doing it. It ain't cool. Why not? Like,
or though, hold that thought.
Okay.
You'll do it when somebody you deem cool does it.
Yeah.
Like, that's lame.
Mm-hmm.
That's extremely, extremely lame. Because I knew motherfuckers that was selling shit, doing shit, all of this before your quote unquote cool motherfuckers did it.
Yeah.
And y'all all jumped on the bandwagon. Or you not supporting them until they get on. But then when they get on, not only did you not support them in their grind, but now you want a discount. You want a family friend. Yeah. Oh, you know, we grew up together. Oh, you know, we went to school together. Like, no, fam, if they charging $60 for a shirt, pay $60 for that man's shirt. Mm-hmm. Like, pay $100 for her catering or his catering services, or however much. Like, I don't.
You know why we do that though, right? Because see, Gucci, Louis, and all of that is looked at as being fashionable and for the rich. You know, we want to be associated with anything that we consider to be, we're looked at as having wealth.
Right.
Just somebody that look like me and you. Oh man, come on, look out for. See, I don't care if you look at me like, I'm broke. But those stores. Those people, nah, I'm going to pay full price.
Right.
I don't even care what the quality is. I'm going to support that. And we got to stop doing that as a people. And if we don't start calling out friends and family, this is a situation that's going to continue. This is going to be a cycle that we're going to continue to suffer from. And I'm not saying, only buy black. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is when there's someone from your neighborhood, someone that you didn't grew up with, even if they're from across town, you done went to high school with. We got our own clothing brand. Why don't we have our own version of a Johnny Dane? We love jewelry. We all gonna wear it. We love our watches. Guarantee you, If Mark is selling jewelry right now, everybody, man, you charging too much. As soon as Drake come get a piece from you, and he show it, he put it in the rap song.
The ticket 10 times what it was.
It's out of here. Now we all want it. We all believed in you. We knew you was gonna be successful.
You ain't even fuck with me like.
But I'm talking about Sneeze. And this is another thing that I noticed that we get bad too. We got to stop this, and this will eliminate the culture vulture mentality. I won't support you because I already look at you as you got enough.
That too.
But we never say Jordan got enough. He dropped literally when I was in school. You might get 2 pair a month, and we thought
that's how it was in elementary.
You was rich if you had both pair that dropped that month.
Right.
Your mama had that bag, or your daddy had that bag. Now, every 3 days it feel like a new pair of Jordans is dropping.
Friday and Saturday,
which is crazy to me. But we don't sit. We look at Jordan as he's successful, he's rich. So when we still put these on our feet, it make us feel like we rich and successful. But anybody that's local, that's trying to get to that point, now we don't see value.
You know what? I can say this because I had a moment like that. Not with Jordan per se, but when everybody was on that LeVar Ball craze and Big Baller Brand,
yeah,
I wasn't on it. Not because I didn't want to see a black man and his son succeed in business. I didn't like his approach.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even care about how much he was charging for his shoes. I thought that $400 or $200 for some slides, I thought that was a bit much. Mm-hmm. But Gucci do it. Okay, so cool. You got me on that. But like you're having like you're supplying celebrity. You got Shannon Sharp and other analysts saying like, yeah, I didn't even get my shoes yet, or I got them and they was the wrong size. It's like, and then you turn around and you get an F from the Better Business Bureau, like the real BBB, and they say like, okay, like you're doing terrible business. Now fast forward, come to find out, your man who you was in business with was either skimming off the top or fucking up the business or whatever. So you should have did your due diligence better with your own home team to make sure you put out a quality product. So applying that to us, if you're in, I guess, business and you're trying to supply a product or whatever, and you're trying to grow your business, it's not just enough to make a quality product and put it out there. You got to have business skills. You got to know how to talk to people. You got to know how to, because I'm not a person that agrees with the customer's always right. Because I've worked in retail, like, I done worked in hella stores in the mall, I've worked in food service and all that shit. The customer ain't always right. No. But you got to know how to take shit a little bit sometimes, and you got to know how to, make adjustments on the fly and everything like that. I ain't saying you let a motherfucker walk over you. No, you ain't doing that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what's the best way for me to be successful in every situation? Know how to be a people person. Sometimes you just going to have an asshole customer and you ain't going to be able to appease them, so they going to talk shit about you. But if you know it's something that you could do to make this person's experience a little bit better, do that. And on the customer side, don't bring your outside problems, whether you done had a fucked up day at work, a fucked up day at the crib, you got relationship shit going on, or you just having an all-around bad day. Don't think that it's this motherfucker's job to kiss your ass just because you trying to spend your money with them. Because just like you trying to spend $1 with them, there's 10 more other motherfuckers that's trying to spend $1 with them. Like, this is an even exchange situation. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think that we should give Jordan, let me not say that. I don't think that we should put Jordan above somebody else that's doing the same thing, because here's a little tidbit that most people don't know. Nike and other high brands, Walmart clothing and all that, all made in the same sweatshops. All made in the same sweatshops. They all the shoes cost like $3 to $5 to make, and they turn around and sell them bitches for $80 to $500 a pair. Like, it's just the logo. That's all it is. The leather ain't different. The patent leather ain't different. The quality of shoe. The only time the quality of shoe is different if it's an actual player shoe that they wearing on the court, because it's custom fit on the inside to fit their foot. We'll look down on the motherfucker if they got on Jordan flights. Oh yeah. Or Team Jordans. Or even now, which is crazy, because we was in school. When we was in school, motherfuckers was losing their mind over Spazikes and goddamn 6 rings. Mm-hmm. Like niggas was
now they laughing.
Yeah. My bad. Now they Mexican Jordans.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, it's nuts because somebody else deem them cool. Like, fam, if you like them, bam. Like bam. Like, why y'all steady trying to impress a motherfucker who probably ain't even got a pot to piss in? To me personally, I just don't understand that shit.
And that's exactly what I'm getting at. If we stop having that mindset and being focused on, oh, you got this, you got that, this is what we deem to be cool or popular, take that same energy and put it to ourselves. Again, you got the Thought Provoking Podcast. Give it a listen. It may not be for you,
Right.
but at least give it a listen. If you do like it, suggest it to a friend. Share it. Post it. Don't cost you nothing. Push our own to the top. That way we have more options. And that's what it's about. Giving us more options and more leverage. Because again, we define what's cool.
Yep.
We run the culture. If we sit there and say Hennessy is this, that, and other today, everybody wants Hennessy. If we say tequila, it is this day, then everybody wants that. We run the culture. But for whatever reason, we have a problem with pushing our own. And when I say our own, anybody that's local, anybody that you know, I'm all for you pushing our people in general. But it stings a little bit when somebody that you know is doing something dope, trying to make a way. And you won't support it, you won't acknowledge it, but you could tell Rick Ross happy birthday. Shout out to Rick Ross because he doing A, B, and C. Like, he's not going to respond to you.
Hey,
why you under his comments?
I bullshit you not. When that was a thing on Twitter and IG back in the day, that was the weirdest shit to me.
It's still going on.
Like
right now.
Like that's
still going on.
That was such a weird like fam.
Yeah.
I get it. You hoping that they see it, reshare your shit, retweet your shit. I get it. But fam, like you ain't tell your man happy birthday today.
Straight up.
A couple hours ago.
Hey.
I get it. You didn't see that one.
Say it to me, because I'm going to reach back. Say it to me. I'm looking for it. So, get under my comments and tell me, man, shout out to what you doing. I'm going to talk back to you, man. Nothing against Rick Ross, but he got a whole fan base. I'm trying to build it up. So, Give me a little love over here, man. But I think, honestly, that would eliminate that whole culture vulture mentality, that whole idea, and gives us more leverage. I'm not promoting, you just say and do anything you want and people continue to fund your lifestyle. But what I am saying is, when you look at the flip side of these type of situations, when you make a mistake, they're canceling you, they're taking money out your pocket, your whole family lifestyle changes. And these are the same companies and brands who gave this man millions of dollars to say the stuff that he say. Every song is the same. Mm-hmm. I'm going to beat a nigga up, I'm going to kill a nigga, I'm going to hit your bitch from the back. Every song, that's what the baby has. There's nothing different. So if I gave you millions of dollars to put your own people down, to kill your own people, to disrespect your own women, and you maintain doing that in this small box, we good. When you step outside of that and you start talking about other races, other groups of people, now it's time for us to put you in your place. And we're going to put you in a place to the point where you'll be in a hole. You don't know what this man lifestyle. He might have, because of all this success, he might have, and I'm not saying you should do it, he might have already done counted up all this money to say, hey, I'm taking X amount of dollars to put my daughter through college, or whatever the case may be. A lot of that could be taken away just like that if you don't do what they want you to do. Apologize for something you didn't say. I never want to be in that position to where I'm kissing everybody's behind because of $1.
Right.
If we see value in ourselves and push everybody to the top, everybody that's local, that's doing clothes, purchase something. I didn't purchase plenty of products from people that I didn't really care for their stuff. But I purchased it. I didn't bash it. Even if I wear it to work, I support it. I done my part. More of us have to be doing it. And again, we have to start calling people out, friends and family. If you could tell Rick Ross happy birthday and share his stuff, when you see he opened up another Wingstop, 50 Cent got a new TV show that he putting out, I'm all for it. Shout out to those guys because it's inspiration. We need to see people that look like us that's doing these things. But what I'm saying is there's room for more of us. A whole lot more of us. And I think that's a start. These conversations need to be circulated. And I hope that anybody that's listening to this, they spread it to their friends and family. Suggest this. Not just to get my views up, but I'm saying this is a conversation within the community that we need to have. Because again, if we don't want to find ourselves like the baby or anybody else that has been counseled behind what they said, give you a prime example. Years ago, Don Imus got on there and called
Nappy Head Hoes.
Nappy Head Hoes. And he wasn't canceled. because his group of people, his following, they supported. They stood behind him, stood firm. Even if you don't agree, I don't got to bash you and say, oh, you should have did this and you stupid for doing this. I could say that to you personally.
Right.
You know, not that I would meet the baby, but I'm saying us as a people. We could critique ourselves and not throw our own, because we quick to throw our own away too. Critique each other and say, hey, this is what it is. These are my thoughts, my feelings towards what you did. I think you need to straighten this up, because you got a lot of people that look like me, younger people, older people. They rooting for you. You know, the big craze behind him was, man, he giving us that old school rap again, not the, you know, mumble rap and this and that. The minute he say something that's stupid, we canceling him. So I want to keep it at just the baby, because again, you can spread it to any artist, any actor, whatever the case may be. But I just want to spread the message of championing our own, seeing value in ourselves, because that's where it starts. You'll have other opportunities to go to other record labels that understand your culture. Look at Instagram. Words that we say on a regular basis, you put it on Instagram, they'll snatch your whole page. Look at what Boosie's going through.
I meant to text you back too when I seen that shit.
I sent it to you. The guy Isaac Hayes, he has his own version of Instagram. And I was sitting there saying, that's where it starts. You don't like how Instagram treating you. You know, when you promoting your certain brands and things like that, they're shadow banning. Go to someone who understands. Oh, I see what they doing. And they playing us. They're cheating us. I got this exact same thing. See value in that. You know, same way y'all run the Clubhouse because it's the new thing. You know, they bring MySpace back right now. People going to fly to it. So my thing is, it's enough of us in the tech space. You know, it's enough of us that are doing real estate. All these, there's nothing in the world that's going on that we ain't a part of. Mm-hmm. See value in what we doing. Push those people to the top. Uplift those. And you'll see a lot of stuff change.
No, you're definitely right.
I also want to let everybody know, Cloud9 Events. Brittany Curry, event planner. You want to do your sipping paints with her? Book her. She got everything that you need. I like to open the floor to you. If there's anything that, you know, during this conversation that you want to throw some input in, change of subject, something that's been on your mind, anything that you want to throw out, I want to make this a whole show where everybody feel like family.
Not even so much of change of subject,
okay.
To elaborate on, or I guess to accentuate a point that you just made as far as like holding each other accountable. Like I didn't think too much of it back in the day, but like of course social media era, everything's a meme. Every aspect of life is a meme for it or whatever. And the whole you expecting X, Y, and Z to do this, and you holding X, Y, Z to that, but your own homeboy doing this to girls, or he ain't taking care of his kids, or vice versa. It's like once I realized that was a real thing, like it started to stick out to me. So I guess I don't even know if it's really a question. Yeah, it is. I'll ask. If you had a homeboy that wasn't or even like a homegirl or whatever that weren't taking care of their children, would you approach them about it?
I definitely would. Depending on, first, how much I value you as being homeboy or a friend. Because, I mean, obviously, for me to give you that title, you should mean something to me. But for me personally, I have to have that rapport with you. If I can't come to you and bring this up, it ain't meant for us to be dealing with each other anyway. Because me personally, and this has always been my stance, I put statuses up about this or whatever. I don't hang around nobody that don't take care of their kids, that's not involved in their kids' life. I don't even want it around me, because at that point, I'm going to feel a type of way to say, dang, my father didn't do right in my life growing up. He had his flaws, made his mistakes, and ultimately it cost him his life. So I've worked hard to be a part of my kid's life and put in that work. And when I know I'm doing it, and I see you all the time, you got time to plug, have a good time.
Facts. And
you ain't putting in the same work, if not more than me. Oh no, my brother, we can't be around each other. No, not at all. I don't want you around. Like you do all of that over there. I don't even want you on my line. I want you on my line. And people may say, oh man, that's messed up, that's this, that's that. But I would want somebody to do the exact same thing for me. Because it's a trend that people think is cool. Like, yeah, I know I got kids out there, and here's what it is, you know. They know who I am. Do they? You okay with that?
Right.
You know, there are so many things that comes with that parenthood. You know, what you instilling in these kids, the mindset. You know, these kids are so impressionable nowadays. You got social media raising these kids. So when you're here, oh man, I need you to step up. Give your kid everything that you didn't get growing up. Not materialistic stuff.
Or that you did have. If you had your parents, like...
But not even materialistic stuff. Teach your kids everything that you didn't know growing up. Taxes. How to do taxes. How important taxes is. How to treat a woman. How to talk to a woman. All of that's very important. So, no. If you ain't involved in your kid's life, I want to deal with you. And yes, I am going to bring it to you. And if we got to fall out behind it, hey, it is what it is. Like, I'm cool with that.
Like, I asked that, and I agree with you, because I'd be the same way. I asked that because I think a lot of that stems from today, as opposed to, I guess, our parents' generation and further back, is don't tell me how to raise my kids. Yeah. Don't be in my business. But it's like, you just ain't the only person depending on you now. It's like, you got a whole however many kids, even if it's just one child. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you get up every morning and not be concerned about a life that you helped bring in the world? Now, it's different if you don't know that this motherfucker exists because the mama on some bullshit or whatever. If you know you got kids out here, mothers included, because all mothers don't do right by their kids either, and you know you ain't doing the best by your child or whatever, it's like, how do you just go about your day like everything else is cool? Like, to me, I don't understand that, because it's like, I'll literally take money from other shit that I'm supposed to be doing to make sure my kids are straight or whatever. Like, I ain't saying that they're the number one priority, but they're definitely top two. Like, so it's like, okay, I'm not gonna go out here and do this because I know MJ and Cam got school coming up within the next couple of weeks. Makai need this. Makai growing out of clothes like a motherfucker. Like, I bust my ass 12 and 16s and extra shit on the side or whatever. How you just kicking it? And I ain't saying it because I'm hating that you got all this extra free time. I know what it entails to be an involved father. You putting that work in, make sure your family is good. And again, this ain't no let's throw a parade for Marcus type shit. No, fuck me.
We need to. We need to.
We
need to, because it's not a lot of people who's doing what you're doing. So let's not downplay what you actually doing. No, we do need to throw.
No, I feel you, but again, that ain't nothing to really like. That's everyday shit. Yeah. If you put like this, you own NIPSCO in the house, right? You gotta have money to pay NIPSCO. You bring kids into this world. Like, that's why I love. I don't know if you ever seen Fences. Actually, I believe the original James Earl Jones play and the one Denzel did is better than the movie.
I seen the Denzel one. Yeah.
Like, but no, I'm gonna send you the YouTube clip of the play. Yeah. And Denzel did the play too before he did the movie. Okay. But when he's talking to his son, telling him like, I brought you in this world. I owe a duty to you. Like, yeah. You didn't ask to be here. Y'all didn't ask to be here. This ain't no, I just get to kick it. Oh, now we get to take pictures together. Oh, now it's father, son, mommy, daughter, mommy, son, girl, dad, boy, mom. Type. Like, no, fuck all of this hashtag shit. Like, at the end of the day, when the last time you been up to the school for your kids? Does your kids' teachers know you by face and name? Like, do they got contact information for you? Like, you know, because our sons go to the same school. I see you when you go out there. You see me. Mm-hmm. How many other kids that we know come from niggas in the hood? You don't never see them at the school or whatever. Like, fam, like that's not just the mom's job. Mothers, that's just not the dad's job. Like, whoever's taking care of the kids, it's just not their job. Like, why aren't like? To me, I feel like I'm equally as guilty if I know that you got kids and you out here, you kicking it with me at the cigar bar, you kicking it with me. Wherever we at the local event, at the local club, or whatever. Like, and I ain't gonna lie, I got into it with one of my niggas a couple years ago. Not really on some getting into it shit. He told me about a situation, so I got to asking him because like I wasn't finna be in your business, but you brought it up. Okay, so let's have a conversation, and I'm like, okay, so based off the information that you told me, what you gonna do? Shit, I'm just gonna let the shit play out. What you mean play out? Like, elaborate. He was like, as far as I'm concerned, his words is being taken care of. Like, I told her, let me know if she want to do a DNA test, and then we could go from there. Fam, the fact that it's a possibility that this kid could be yours, why you ain't taking the initiative?
You don't want to know.
Like, I'm talking about, and we got into it for real. Love the nigga to death. But we got into it for real because I'm like, okay, let's do it this way. Worst case scenario. You die early. And you ain't never established a relationship with this child. You just strip this child from every part. Like, it don't matter if I'm sitting around your mom, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, telling her, oh, so-and-so was this, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did this in high school. Like, fam, don't none of that shit compare to the bond that you could have created with this child.
That child, yeah.
Like, and yeah, okay, so what, the mom was on some bullshit back in the day. You don't penalize the child for that. Like, it's just like, I feel like niggas, and when I say niggas, I mean women and men, make so many excuses to do the bogus shit. Like, I'll never forget, I was chopping over my brother some years back, and he told me straight up, he was like, you know what, I told my girl, this is what he said, he was like, I told my girl, if I was ever just doing some bullshit in the street, I fucked around and I got a girl pregnant, I tell her to her face, like, look, either you could walk, or you could deal with me and this kid. Because at the end of the day, I'm not finna be no bullshit father, or no deadbeat daddy to this kid that didn't ask to be here. As fucked up as a situation as that is, you gotta commend the accountability in it. Because none of us asked to be here. We ain't tap our pops or our moms, I'm ready to come out. Like no, like, you're responsible to instill everything that you know and teach everything that you didn't know to this child. Like, that baffles me because I see it on a daily basis. Like, niggas really be out kicking it. Like I'm talking about having the Flintstones having the gayest of times. Like, no pun intended. Like, just kicking it.
Those are the thoughts of Mark.
right.
The thoughts.
like having a gay old time. Like, just like turning the fuck up, as y'all say. Ain't seen they kid in months. Ain't talked to they kid, like, don't know what size shoe they kid wear. Like, don't know none of the shit they like when it comes time for Christmas, birthdays. Don't know what type of cartoons they watching, if they watching the right shit. Like, you niggas need to get involved. And stop thinking that, oh, because a motherfucker that you kick it with on a daily tap you on the shoulder, pull your coattail and say, hey, last time you seen blah, blah, blah. Last time you kicked it with so-and-so. Not, man, stay on my business. Fam, they ain't in your business. Yeah. Like,
we got this report.
Right.
It's obvious that I see this.
I ain't no outside nigga. Like that's weird to me. Like, matter of fact, that ain't even weird to me. Like, that's, and I don't like to use the word like, that's lame as fuck. Like that's extremely, extremely lame, because if you had what you not providing, you would have wanted it when you were young. If you didn't have what you not providing, you missed it when you were young. So how are you just willingly repeating the cycle? Now, don't get me wrong. If the mom on some bullshit, if the daddy on some bullshit, I get it. Don't give up. Fight harder. This ain't 1980s or 70s. Fathers, we got rights. Oh, yeah. These women can't keep us from our kids. I don't give a fuck what she telling you when she mad and cussing and doing all that bullshit. You take your ass down to that clerk's office and you set up an appointment to go to court or whatever, and put yourself on child support. You gonna get them demanded fucking visitations, overnights, all that,
50 joint custody.
Straight up, because I done had it with MJ since he was born, and me and Lulu was together when he was born, and we signed the papers right there at community. Like, if it's important to you, you take pride in it. Y'all take pride in the rims.
Oh my god.
Y'all take pride in the J's. Y'all miss a release date.
Like, yeah, you know, to some people, being a father ain't cool. It ain't flashy enough. You ain't gonna get a million likes for it. You know, we gonna downplay it and say that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, you are supposed to do that, but there's a lot that don't. So when you do see it, praise that person. That's why I said when you say, oh, this ain't to big up Marcus. No, it is. We need to start doing that because, again, there's such an absence in these kids' life, and it affects everybody. Like, literally, I never thought that I had father issues growing up because I was the typical, all right, he wasn't here, or, you know, he had a drug issue, or whatever the case may be. And it was like, okay, fuck him. But that same fuck him, in reality, is your crowd for saying, I needed him. Because if you're not affected, you don't speak on it.
Exactly.
It took for me to have kids, be involved in my kids' life, chasing them around the table. He ain't really going nowhere, but, you know, just his daddy chasing him, swatting the basketball from him, brought him so much joy, it instantly clicked in my mind what I was missing. So I couldn't turn around at that point not be all that I wanted from my father to my kids. It's okay to be, and it's still a struggle now. You learn all the time. There's no right way to parent. There's a lot of wrong ways, but it's not just one particular way to parent. So if somebody's suggesting something or telling you, hey, you got to look at this, look at that, be open to it. Because if we call ourselves friends, I view my friends as family.
Right.
So if you see something, definitely point it out to me. There's no back and forth. There's no, I feel this way, I feel the tech. No, like we should be able to have those dialogues with each other and then not come to fisticuffs. Like you ain't got to turn everything into Afghanistan just because somebody done said something that you didn't like. It may be, you may not get it now to this day, but a month later you might think back on, man, Marcus said some real stuff. I could see how he came to that point, man. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because that was good conversation that needed to be had, and I hope it helps someone that definitely needs to hear.
Yeah, it was just something that was on the brain. Like I said, I was lucky because I didn't have my father growing up, my biological father, for whatever reason that went on between him and my mom's, and whatever decisions he made or whatever. I was lucky. Well, I say I was blessed because I had my godfather who was also there when I was born. Didn't miss a doctor's visit, hospital visit, sports event, school event, first day of school, Christmas. Like, I couldn't even necessarily say that I missed my father because I had everything in that in my godfather. But I just know, okay, like, there's somebody else out here that I'm supposed to be kicking it with that I don't even fuck with like that. Not that I don't fuck with him. Like, he not here and I ain't missing shit, so I ain't just running to pick up the phone and call the nigga neither. It wasn't until my grandmother, his mom, got diagnosed with cervical cancer. And she died probably about, I was 19 when she got diagnosed, I think. She died probably about a year and a half later. Like, that's when we started to... I'm lying. MJ was born 20... Yeah, it was before that because I was 20 at the time. MJ was born, I was 22. The night MJ was born was the night me and him had the longest conversation I've ever had with him in life. And it was funny because I had told Lulu, like, in order for me to be a great father to him, and my godfather told me this. He was like, you need to establish a relationship with your pops. And that shit going in one ear and out the other. Like, nigga, I got you. Like,
you is.
You're right, yeah. I never knew how beneficial it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because as much as I thought, like you said, I had everything. Like, and to me, you don't miss what you ain't got. Or you never had. The conversation we had that night, we had to be on the phone for about an hour and a half. Like, I'm talking about, like, we talked every day on some how was school, son type shit. Like, and after we got off the phone, I'm like, damn, like, what the fuck? We ain't been doing this shit or whatever. But I was grateful for it, and like I said, I had told Lulu, I'm like, look, in order for me to be a great father to our son, I was going to have to establish, because he was still alive. And it wasn't me, because he reached out first. But I knew I was gonna have to have that rapport with him because it was a lot of shit about me that I didn't know. It was a lot of shit about him that I didn't know, and it was just a lot of shit about fatherhood. And it wasn't that he could teach me necessarily the right shit to do. It was the fact that, okay, for whatever went on back in the day, it's still something that I can learn from. Not just the positive side. Oh yeah, make sure you there. Like, no. What are the reasons that you could leave? Like, what was the shit that made you leave and shit like that? So it was no matter how you look at it, it was all beneficial. And I was glad that I still had the opportunity and shit to do it, which he still has. So shout out to my pops.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you sharing that. As we get ready to close on this episode, I want to shout out my guy Sylvester Hardin and his beautiful wife. They just tied the knot with each other. I was a part of that wedding.
Congrats.
Like to see anybody, no matter what race you are, what color, any of that kind of stuff, anybody that takes that step and get married, I think it's a beautiful thing. We don't celebrate it enough. We see the negative. Everybody think you're supposed to have a million women and, I can sleep with who I want, and I'll forget all that. So I want to definitely shout him out. And check his page out as well on social media. He do all the hookah events. He deliver them to you. Prices is pretty good. You just want to buy them. You don't have an event, but you just in the house. You want to get with your homegirls or the fellas. You want to smoke your hookah. Sylvester Hardman on Facebook. Check my man out. My man, I definitely want to tell y'all I appreciate you for not only showing up,
no doubt,
doing the pod, but I also want to big you up and tell y'all I appreciate you because I had a whole conversation about, me wanting to step into this lane. I felt that there's not a lot of platforms talking about some of the subjects that I wanted to talk about, and you embraced me to not only give me an opportunity to come on you guys' podcast, but also pointing me in the right direction to say, hey, talk to this guy. If you're looking for certain equipment, he can guide you. Y'all even allowed me to come back on the podcast off of a conversation me and you had to do a second episode. Know if I'm the first person to do a repeat with y'all or not, but just in case, I definitely appreciate you. So I want to give you your flowers while you're here. I appreciate you returning the love, coming to do my pod.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
no doubt. And I appreciate you for having the platform that we talked about because these conversations, no bigging up, and not that we shouldn't, but this ain't. I don't know Kevin Samuels type shit, but it's there are conversations that aren't being had amongst men, between men and women, or just men in general that need to be had. And I definitely see you going far.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate you having me on this.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. Tune in to the next one.